Yes?
We have to meet. I received a letter this morning from my head office. Listen, I'll read it to you. To Reverend Lawrence Dressing. Owing to the sparse revenue returns over the last 18 months, the board has no choice but to place the St Kilroy unit, for which you are financially responsible, on the list for considered redevelopment, along with other low-turnover, high-fixed-cost salvation sites. Your position as financial and spiritual caretaker of St Kilroy is also currently under review. There has only been 2 burials in the entire 1997-98 fiscal year, worth only 200 ecumarks, which is highly unsatisfactory. And although the board appreciate your recent fundraising efforts, these small amounts will not suffice as the revenue for St Kilroy. These decisions were taken by the board on the 29th of September 1998, and you have until the 29th of November 1998 before we publish our quarterly review report. If at this date your financial position shows no clear sign of vast improvement, plans for redevelopment will be finalized. Paul, do you realize the implications?
Holy shite.
Right, I'm going to fill your graveyard.
With what?
Graves.
Mock ones, empty ones, just the stones.
No.
Bodies.
Yes, Lawrence, real live dead bodies.
Oh God, Paul, no.
Larry, we need the money. No bodies, no relatives. No relatives, no funeral. No funeral, no money.
But Paul, this is immoral.
That's right, it's murder. You shouldn't have to think twice about it, not this time.
No, there must be another way.
Yeah, it's called prison. For Christ's sake, Larry, this is our only option.
Don't you dare blaspheme! How can you sit there and mention the name of our Lord in the same breath as murder? Paul, you're a doctor. You're meant to save lives, not take them.
I'm not a doctor, I'm a hypnotherapist. And you're a fucking hypocrite. If I had have been a real doctor, I'd have never got involved in the first place, you bastard.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Look, Larry, ever since I left medical school, I've worked hard. Very hard. And I wasn't going to sit back and let your big mouth land me in the shite. And that's why I helped you with your personal problem.
And all these years, I thought you did it out of love.
Bollocks. You blackmailed me, Rev.
But Paul, you have to understand, I was desperate.
I know, you're my best friend and I love you like a brother. But seriously, if they rip down that church and discover that girl, before they lock me up and throw away the key, I'm going to put you in the ground. No, but I swear to you, Lawrence, I'll rip your fucking head off.
I see.
Then kill them, my son. Kill them all. Kill until your hunger is satisfied.
And I don't know why, but it always seems to occur on Wednesday nights.
Have you ever spoken to him?
Well, once. It was last week, I think. He's opened his jaws and sort of sang to me. La 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 la.
Are you afraid of him catching you up and climbing in the boat with you?
Oh no, that would be impossible. You see, he's always skiing at the end of a rope, and the rope is always the same length.
And it's always the same crocodile?
Marcel.
Marcel, it's always him.
Oh yes, I know it's him. None of the others have teeth that shine like pins against that glistening black hide.
Yes. Well, Drew, you're obviously suffering from a sublimated psycho-pseudo-sexual trauma, the product of a disturbed subconscious. It'll take extensive treatment, possibly intensive treatment, and perhaps even internal treatment, complemented by the external therapy, whereby we set up an environment conducive to rehabilitation. But of course it's inside where I can really go to work.
Thank you, Doctor.
I'll see you soon.
So, Gordon, how can I help you?
Lawrence, we've known each other, what, a good 20 years?
Yes, man.
Well, you know, I've been in this trade for as long as I can remember. Dealing with the deceased as I do, so closely and intimately, I feel. I feel as though they're leaving me behind. Sometimes I actually envy them, you know. Do you know what I mean? All the fuss and that. So, I've decided, while I can still appreciate it, I want to experience burial firsthand. And I want you to bury me. Yeah, I've picked a spot, mind. I don't want to die. You'll dig me up after a fortnight. I've got my son to do me up and all that, but I have picked the spot. I will be in a trance, so you don't have to worry. All right.
Have you ever been hypnotised before?
No. Yes. Sort of. I'll explain. What happened was I was doing a funeral at the Immaculate Conception of the Mother Mary church. It's a new one. And I was like looking at the stained glass revolving doors. Lovely. And like sun got onto them. And I was just like transfixed. And like the next thing I knew was I was helping out at baptism. So yeah, definitely.
I see. Well, what you've asked for is the top of the range here at Hypno Hills, the 14-day trance inducement.
Yeah,
And it is rather expensive.
No, money's no problem. I'll get a lot of job satisfaction out of what I do.
Great. Well, that means just there. And could you sign at the bottom there, please?
Yeah, sure. Okay.
I don't see any reason at all. If you're relaxed, why we can't start right away. I'll put you under now and see you in a couple of weeks.
Thank you very much, Doctor.
Doctor.
Archbishop! Dorsal 5. Call me Dorsal.
What exactly will you be wanting to see?
Well, I want to check the invoices and calculate the grave turnover of the season. Then I want to check the physical conditions of the unit and make my report to upstairs. Now tell me, your last burial was in September.
Well, look, the congregation is up from last season quite considerably, in fact.
We do appreciate your community effort, Dressing, but it's corpse per coffin currency that's required. And there doesn't seem to be much of a turnover in graves. It's all very rosy, having a happy band of parishioners dropping their spare change into the collection plate. But these people don't seem to realise that's just not enough. Religion is a costly enterprise. We need to see hard ecumarks coming out of a unit such as yours, Dressing.
So, what's the verdict?
Well, it doesn't look good, dressing. It doesn't look rosy at all. I mean, this belfry, for instance, is it still in use?
Well, what do you mean?
I mean, do you still use it? Does it have a bell? Does it still ring?
Yes, it rings.
Well, perhaps I can have a look at it.
No, don't go in there. The tower is a very old part of the church, and we like to keep it free from people. It's mice, you see. They get in and cause all manner of problems. Maybe I'll just show you the fault. This way. Ah, yes, this is it. It's of early Norman origin.
You see, dressing, the new belfries have a variable orchestral loop, a recorded synthesized sound, much more in keeping with our image. This is just out of date.
Did you see George on Saturday, then? No. I looked for him in the pub, but I couldn't find him. No, listen, Nina. I was supposed to meet Carol in Cafe Caliente at, I think it was 12:30, and Dr. Toombs still isn't here. I know, exactly. Have you met him? Calls himself a doctor. Some doctor he is. I've got people waiting in reception. It's ridiculous. Hang on a second. Here he is now. OK, thanks very much then, madam. OK then, lovely. Goodbye. Morning, Dr. Toombs. Right, Doctor, you're just in time for the second post. I think they're all rather urgent. I opened them in your absence, you understand. There was a message. Reverend Dressing phoned. He seemed rather distressed.
Okay.
He says, can you call him back? Doctor, there's an awful lot of patients waiting. You put them all in without consulting me, didn't you?
Yes, well, I wanted to work hammer and tongs today and cure some of their conditions once and for all.
OK, Doctor, I'll send, Mr. Booner into your office, shall I?
No.
His appointment was for 10 o'clock after all.
Yeah, right. Just give me a minute, and don't send him into the office. Send him to the cool room. I'll see all of them in the cool room today.
So we're skipping lunch today, are we?
No, I wouldn't say that.
No, you wouldn't.
So, Mr. Booner, tell me, what's the problem?
Dr. Toombs, I can't score.
Well, why don't you ask out my secretary, Jemima? I'm sure you'll get lucky. She's been acting like she hasn't had any for weeks. Certainly get her off my back.
No.
I'm not surprised if you wear them. You probably walk like you're incontinent.
No, I'm a centre forward. I can't score goals.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, I can't seem to put the ball in the back of the net.
Well, how do you think hypnotherapy will help this problem?
Well, it's definitely a psychological problem.
Go on.
Well, I can get possession. I keep possession. And dribbling's fine. And I can even pass players. And I can beat the keeper. But when I'm faced with an open goal, something happens. I hear music, and my mum calling me in for tea. Bertram, and I just can't finish it off.
Yes, well, Mr. Booner, it seems very much to me like you're suffering from a latent maternally evoked match play disorder, what we call soccer suckling interruptus. And you're possibly experiencing belated Beckenbauer breastfed behaviour. And I'm going to need to put you under hypnosis.
Dear Mrs. Thorne, I have the sad duty to inform you of your husband's untimely death this morning. Unbeknownst to you or any other of his friends, Brian had been suffering from cardial rectothroposis, a savage and yet almost symptomless disease, which is at present incurable and in all cases terminal. Brian had decided to spare you the agony of awaiting the inevitable by keeping his illness a secret from you and the outside world. Being somewhat of an authority on Jonathan's condition, in fact the only specialist in this country, I can assure you your son's death was painless. However, the body of a thrombosolymphitis victim remains highly contagious long after clinical death, and so Jonathan's body, by law, will have to be buried in quarantine, at a specially designated gravesite, in fully consecrated ground. I enclose the bill for his extensive treatment, and for the smooth arrangement of his forthcoming funeral, payment for which should be made to Reverend Dressing, St Kilroy Church. Your daughter and son-in-law have been tragically struck down by a rare strain of clavicle ipto-lambergothrax. On hearing of the diagnosis, and recognizing the hopelessness of their condition, they made the decision not to burden you, or any outsider, with the despair of waiting powerlessly as the disease ravages their mind and body. I am unable to bury them until you pay for their treatment. Please send donations to the Lambergothrax Research Fund, care of Reverend Dressing, St Kilroy's Church.
Well, Lawrence, I thought you'd be pleased to see me. I just thought I'd pop down and have a look at our handiwork. Lawrence, we really did it. We really hit the big time. This is what I call business expansion. Look at it.
Oh, hello.
Hello. Reverend Dressing?
Yes?
Oh, look, you're obviously busy. I can call back.
Oh, no nonsense, my dear. Please, come in. So, how can I help you?
I just needed someone to talk to. I work as a nursery nurse in the children's home.
It's a very admirable occupation.
I misuse my responsibilities in a most evil way.
Very hard to believe, my dear.
I killed a small child.
What do you mean?
A few weeks ago, I caused a car crash. I was taking one of the children to the doctor's on the way home. I lost control of the car. I tried to turn the steering wheel, but the car swerved. I lost control.
You mustn't blame yourself for what's happened.
The child died. I survived. It's my fault.
It's an accident.
I know I'm to blame for all this.
Oh, look, I know evil. You're not an evil person. You have to understand, God sees everything, and he sees the obvious good in you.
I just needed someone to talk to.
I'll be sending one your way next week, Lawrence. A real fruitcake. Her name's Drew, and she believes she's sexually desired by a crocodile on water skis. Strange but interesting, you know the type. Anyway, prescribed a course of the Paul Tombs internal therapy for her, but she's not complying with doctor's orders, so you'll be seeing her soon. Very soon.
Paul, have medicine.
I'll get the hot towels ready.
What?
Oh, what a girl. Nice. What's her name?
Georgina, yes, she's lovely, but she's very young, and I feel wrong about it.
You and your conscience, eh?
It just troubles me. I mean, she looks up to me. I'm like a father figure to her. And yet I'm responsible for so much evil. It's hard to keep up this role of moral guardian. I mean, she asks my advice about her guilt. It's just crazy. I mean, how can I bestow forgiveness on her?
Oh, lighten up, Lawrence.
I suppose I should do, shouldn't I? After all, what's done is done, and she is beautiful, and she's exactly what I need. And you know, the wonderful thing about it, Paul, is I think I'm exactly what she needs.
How old is she, Lawrence?
20.
For Christ's sake, Larry, she's a woman. She's 20 years old. Jesus.
Yes, she's 20, she's a woman, but Paul, don't blaspheme.
Yeah, fuck off.
Hypnosis?
I certainly do.
Well, you see, I was wondering if you could help me. I haven't been sleeping at all well these nights.
Well, obviously, I can't attempt to put you under, until you're fully relaxed. So, if you would be so kind.
Oh, shall I take off my...
Yes, please.
Is anything wrong, Doctor? Is anything wrong, Doctor?
No, I think that's enough preamble. I'll put you under now. Okay, now I want you to look at the hypnometer and keep focusing in on it all the time, okay? Now you're completely still. You're totally relaxed and tranquil. I'm going to ask you about your childhood. Tell me about your parents.
My parents? I loved them. I had to leave.
Where did you have to leave?
Home. Parents told me I wasn't really their daughter.
When was this?
I was 16.
You were fostered?
Yes.
How did you react to this shocking news?
I asked about my real parents. And they told me my mother died in childbirth. And my father... Nobody knew my father. I was found on the doorstep of the Salvation Army hostel. Somebody recalls a mysterious stranger. Creepy guy. Ugly.
What are you doing now?
I work at the children's home. I'm a nurse. Ever since I killed the baby, I can't sleep. I can't drive. I went to church for the first time. I met Lawrence.
Georgina.
He's so wonderful. Can't drive. Can't sleep. He doesn't mind.
You haven't, you and him, you're sleeping together.
I don't sleep. He wants to get married. I feel so near to him.
Lawrence. Georgina. She's 20 years old.
Yes.
She was born 20 years ago.
Well, of course she was born 20 years ago. She's 20 fucking years old.
What? You're going to get married?
What? Who? Paul, why are we discussing Georgina? You've never even met her.
She came to the clinic.
She came to you. Paul, you haven't. Oh my God, you haven't.
It's all right, it's all right. I'll send her back to you as soon as I've finished with her.
No, what have you done? Paul, what have you done with her?
No, I haven't killed her. Look, but... You're talking marriage. You are talking marriage.
Yes, well, what's the problem with that? Look, Paul, where is she?
She's here. She's all right. I just had her under hypnosis.
Right, Paul. Don't move a fucking muscle. I'm coming right over. I'll be 5 minutes. Now, don't touch her. I'm going to be 5 minutes. Don't touch her. George! Paul, what have you done? Wake her up, quickly! Snap her out of it!
What's going on? What are you doing here? Where are we?
I'm a friend of Dr. Toombs here. Lucky I got here in time, April. We thought we'd have a Lukey ceremony, just a few friends over. And, well, Paul, I think we'd like you to be best man. Look, Paul, this is going to be the happiest day of my life. I expected more reaction. Look, we've known each other for years. I couldn't think of a better man for the job. Look, I want you to consider it. I don't expect an answer straight away, but one in the next few minutes would be helpful. Paul, are you thinking? Paul.
Look, I'm sorry. I really must be getting back to the clinic now. Sorry about this. I'll give you a ring, Lawrence, okay?
Well, I don't think the wedding would be quite the same without one.
Yes, very funny, George. Very funny. Well, Paul, please, just think about it.
Yeah, okay.